So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom and I'm all set to get going with this Sharp Practice play along game. Thank you very much for suggestions on what the two forces should do. I realised I made it a little bit harder and I should have been a bit clearer, maybe. Lessons learned, it's only the second time I've done this, but it wasn't very easy. From Sharp Practice particularly, it's very difficult to determine exactly what you're going to do because the cards come out of different, very random nature. So I appreciate it was a bit hard for people to sort of give an indication of what they thought. So what I'll do is play through the first few turns. We'll get to a situation and see how we want to continue, and get you guys the opportunity to come up with a plan. As discussed in the last time round, you know, I will post it up in stages, a bit like a sort of play by mail, play by post game of the yesteryear, where you determine, give me an idea about what you think should happen. Obviously it'll played out using the cards as per the Sharp Practice rules, but you know, at least you get a chance to sort of control the forces in some way. So a quick refresher: we have the battle to capture this fort, which is holding or sort of in control of a river crossing. River itself is not particularly high at the moment. It's summer and the water levels are low, so it doesn't slow anything at all. More there for effect than anything else. The French entry point is there on the end of the road by the orchard. There's a sort of a dense foresty area here, which actually has a hill underneath it as well. The bridge over the river, fencing, and these stone buildings of this sort of small hamlet, I guess, around this this fort. Spanish troops are here, already holding the area. We have a group of, or two groups of militia forming up with their local commander, who's a level 2 big man, and then a group of skirmishers here, sort of currently occupying the fort, and ready to rock and roll. The British support force will come on at that deployment point there. You can see a couple of smaller forests around the place, some hills and so forth. So I have decided on the force points. Both sides had 6. The British, or the Allies, decided, I thought I'd do something a bit different because it tends to be a bit formulaic with the, well, I find it is anyway. So I took a physic and a holyman, because both of those are kind of cheap points. The physic helps if any of the officers get wounded, he can help them back to their feet again. And if you watched any games of Sharp Practice or played any games of Sharp Practice, leaders go down fairly regularly, so a physic is kind of an absolute essential. Holy Man, once a game, can take shock off a formation. Also, I went for an exploring officer because that allows the British coming on to deploy further from their starting point, and also allows them an extra deployment point, which could also be very useful to get up onto the table. And I took a barrier for the British here. Simulated here, it's 4 inches, up to 4 inches long. It counts as light cover and a major obstacle. Now, in an ideal world, I would probably have put it down by the bridge there, but the vagaries of Sharp Practice cards means that they could put it there and then suddenly the French have a lovely barrier to defend. So because it's not far for the French to come on, so I decided in the end that the Spanish would concede a little bit of ground maybe and set it up there, which might also become a sort of fallback position. It could also slow down their deployment towards the bridge quite well, but yeah, we'll see. And on the French side, they also had 6 points, so they went for the physic and Holy Man exactly as the British, and also I gave them a musician because that basically extends their commander's range considerably and also allows them to get better control of the troops if they fire uncontrolled volleys, which is very useful because the French forces has a lot of conscripts and volunteers which are harder to control. And also they've gone for an exploring officer as well, because again, giving them the opportunity to deploy further forward from that single deployment point via another one will be very, very useful indeed. So that's where we are. Force morale for both sides is 10. They each have 6 big men aside, and I've put 4 flags in the bag. So, well, in the pack, because here it is. It's all shuffled, ready to go. So I'll just get myself ready and we'll kick off. Okay, let's crack on with turn 1. Let me put a counter out so I remember how many turns it is this time. Oh, a dice anyway. There you go, turn 1. First up, French leader 6. French leader 6 is the Lancers. Oh, hang on. Before I do that, I need to put out the extra deployment points because of the exploring officers. Bear with. Right, sorry about that. So at the end, I moved the French additional fixed deployment point here on the side of the hill in the woods. And the British one, I actually decided to put up on the hill there. I'm thinking that maybe the cannon might be useful up there. It's also does get them a little bit closer to the village, so yeah, I think it's probably not a bad idea. So anyway, French Lancers were the first out the bag. Now I'm not one for not deploying. Some people I know kind of don't put the first unit out every time if it's not suitable, but my experience is if you don't, they end up not doing anything. So I think I am going to bring the Lancers on, and I am going to deploy them. Well, so one gentleman suggested I should use the Lancers to go and grab the bridge as quickly as possible, and that would have been a strategic point, but I hadn't idea. But then the problem with doing that was that at that point he didn't realise, I don't think, the Spanish were already deployed in the village, and that would be kind of suicidal. So instead I'm going to do what a lot of other people suggested, which was to bring the cavalry up on the right hand flank over there, and that's exactly what I will do. Now for cavalry, they count as scouts, I think, so 18 inches. They get an additional 3 because they've got an exploring officer in their formation. So we're going to come off this back point here. 18 inches gets us to there. An additional 3 gets us to 21. So they can come right up to here, which I think, do it there, and then maybe it can head round, create a bit of a threat on that flank. So we'll shove them over here. French Lancers, I'll just get their officer. That's Lieutenant Laurent, who is officer 6. Now the good thing there is a massive hill over here, so that gives them goods, well, keeps them away from too much threat at the moment. Right, first one out. Next one is Blue Leader 4. Blue Leader 4. Now that is the Spanish Light Infantry, the Cacadors. Do they vacate their tower to move forward? I think if they don't, they're kind of giving up an awful lot of ground. to the French. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to use, I'm going to say one action gets them to sort of move around within the building, and then they'll do 2 dice towards 2 dice sort of down this way. Roll the dice. Oh, an 11. They are keen. So they won't be slowed by the thing. It gets them all the way out to here, which is quite good. I would put them in the building, but observant of you before might have noticed there's no windows on this side. So there really isn't much point in them going in there. So that is, of course, I put the dice there and now it's in the way. That is the Spanish leader 4. We've got a flag. Another flag. French leader 3. And that is Lieutenant Poisson and his Grenadiers. So they will certainly appear. They deploy 6 inches from the deployment point, but because of the exploring officer they get an additional 3, so 9 inches from the deployment point. Now I think I did like one of the suggestions, which was to basically use the light infantry as the guys that go in first, and then let the Grenadiers come in behind to take the objective. That seems very appropriate for the French. So what I'm going to do, so get 6 9-inch deployment from here. I'm going to bring them up just to there. They'll form column to help them move faster. Sorry about the pings going off. There he is, leading the Grenadiers forward. Insert your own drumming noises here, please. Oh, and there's Tiffin. So, Tiffin. Each side has 1 flag each. However, the French didn't have anybody on table, so they can't do anything. But the Allies do have one, which means the unit of militia can attempt to do something. So they don't want to go too far because we've got those cavalry out on the flank out there, who could potentially swing around the back of the hill and cause some mayhem. So I think what they're going to do, it's already a bit of a challenge for them. I think what they're going to do is basically form up, going to move forward 1 dice and form into line, and see whether they, and basically take stock of what things are like from there. So we'll roll a dice. They rolled a 4, which is pretty good. And the thing about these militia, they're big units. 10 men is a lot of figures to fit in. So 10 will basically get them forward. So 4 will basically just about get them to the barrier, to there. And then they'll expand out. I'll just remove that bit for the moment. Right, there we go. And that is the end of turn 1. We'll move on to turn 2. So onwards for turn 2. First out the bag, blue flag, red flag, red leader 5. That is the cannon. That is the cannon. So they have to deploy touching a drop-off point. but given the fact we have an exploring officer, allows me to move up to 3 inches away. So I think the original plan was to bring it up onto the hill. That was what somebody suggested. So I don't see any reason to change that. So where's the front of the hill? It's there. That looks like a good line of sight straight down that road. So we'll set up there. It's an interesting one for the froggies to have to deal with. Leader 5. Just show you the view. You can see that looks straight down the road. Very useful indeed. Okay. Red leader 1. It's all suddenly the Brits have come out the bag. Major Roy with his 2 groups of Line Infantry. Now he can deploy up to 6 inches away from the deployment point. And he might as well, and then he can use the extra. Also use the extra 3 inches that the exploring officer gives us. So I think this is going to be the best place. So 6 inches plus 3 gives us 9 inches. This you can deploy down here. I think they put them in column for the moment. Oops, not the tree down. So it's going to go in column on the road. There he is, Major Roy on his horse. Plus he's got the physic and the medic. Physic and the holyman, sorry, with him. There we go. Ready to go. Next one is Blue Leader 3. Blue Leader 3 is it's Lieutenant Poisson with his Grenadiers. So that changes the complexion of things a little bit, doesn't it, for our French friends? At the moment, it's just him against quite a lot of troops. I think he's going to try and form up over here. So he's going to do 1 dice of movement. 5 inches is pretty good. Let's move him out of the way. 5 inches gets us to there. And then he's going to snap out to form a line. Don't want to get hit by a cannon from that distance. And he'll be on this side of the line. Oops. I'll put him in front because he's a brave Sir Robin. There we go. Red Leader 2 is... well, it's the hero of the hour. It's Sergeant Little with his skirmishers. So, up to 9 inches from the deployment point, plus an additional 3 for the exploring officer. So he might as well come on over here too. So he can go up to 12 inches away. Just gets him all the way up to here. In fact, since the skirmishers there, I think he might come this direction. There we go. Deploy here. Nothing in range, sadly, or even in view, I don't think. But Sergeant Little is on the table. And there's Tiffin. Huh. Wow. Well, last time I played this game, it was the British that didn't want to come on the table. This time, it is the French. So both have 1 card each, 1 flag each. French French can move their cavalry, but that's all they've got on the table that could move. The Allies have got, well, they could move any of the Spanish units. I think. Well, we'll roll the dice. 1, 2, 3. Because they've both got the same force morale. 1, 2, 3. It's the French go first. So it's the French choose first. Okay. What to do with them though? Do they even want to do anything just yet? I think they're just going to walk across the river. Well, yeah, I think I'm just going to... There's not really much point in them pushing too much, so I think they're just going to walk across the river with 2 dice of movement. Blimey, they're still up for it. It's 12 inches. Now, they're going to be slowed by this. So they'll probably lose... Ooh, what is difficult terrain? What does that do? 1 pip per dice. So they move a whole... Still move 10 inches, which gets them up to here. Well, the tree's in the way at the moment. Yeah, that'll probably do. We'll move to there. So that's him, and then Allies have 1 flag to spend. I think they'll... I think we'll use it on the skirmishers. I'm not sure they've got a shot on the Grenadiers, sadly, unless they cross the river. Really haven't got a shot anywhere. So we'll just move them up to the fence. There we go. They're defending. They've got to hold until relieved, so let's just move them up. I think that's probably as much as we're going to get away with, because they haven't... There's a wood here. This whole area is wooded, so I'm saying that they can't really see the Grenadiers there. At best, they might have 1 shot, and there's no point wasting it. Wasting their first fire, I mean. So that is the end of turn 2. Not an awful lot happened, but there's an awful lot of Brits, or Allies, on the table. So give the cards a good shuffle. It's been a couple of quick turns. Right. Turn 3, we start with a red flag. Blue leader 3. Blue leader 3 is... I don't believe it. It's Poisson with his Grenadiers. Well, I mean, it's the only thing on the table at the moment. I think he's going to march forward. I'm going to send him forward up to the lee of the hill here. At least it gets him out of the way of the cannon if the cannon fires. 7 inches gets him up to there. Definitely means he's no longer seen by the cannon, which is a good thing, I guess, for the Frenchies. It's going to be on that side of the line, and there we go, that's him moved. Red leader 2 is our friend Sergeant Little, over here at the back. He's going to start getting a little nervous of those cavalry running around everywhere over there. At the moment they're not much of a threat, but they could be, so I think we might just move 2 dice towards the wood here. 8. Which gets him all the way over here. I think that's probably the best thing to do with him for the moment. Still got another movement dice, but until we really see where the French are committing, I feel like it's not much point moving any further. So that's the end of Sergeant Little for the moment. Next one out is another British flag, so that's 2 flags. I'm not going to burn any because it's not really anything to fire at, and we might need them to move at the end. Oh, the 3rd flag. So we could use that to bring on another British force. There's only 1 left. I think I'm going to wait, because if I can get a 4th flag, that's got to be a good thing. blimey, red 3. Red 3 is that is our friend. What's his name? Miguel da Costa and his provincial militia. Now, is he feeling a bit braver because they got the French, got the British coming up behind? He's going to be a little nervous with the cavalry out there on the wing. I think they might start to move. Okay, no, they're going to stay exactly where they are. Well, what I might do is just sort of move them that direction slightly, so their volley is more in line with those fellas. I was going to move them forward, but what I've realised is that that's a major obstacle in front of them, that barrier, and militia start taking shock if they try and climb over a major barrier, so they've been hoisted by their own barrier. So that'll do. French 6. French 6. Now, it's the Lancers again. I don't like where they are. It's not really a cavalry game. I think they're going to stay where they are. I don't think we're going to move them. I think they're just going to sit there for the moment. But that's much more useful for the Frenchies. That is Major Marcel with his column of French infantry. He can start 6 inches from the deployment point, plus another 3 because they are in because they've got an explorer. So now then, we could make this very, very interesting indeed and deploy them off this deployment point here, 9 inches, which would actually get them virtually in the face of this skirmish line here. And do you know what? I think I'm going to do that. I think we're going to go aggressive. Well, before the Brits get into action, we're going to bring these Frenchies right up to here. Start them. Let's just move that tree for a minute. So 9 inches will get us to there. I've come out of the woods and surprised the Spanish defenders. We weren't expecting them to be quite so close. I wasn't expecting them to be quite so close, to be absolutely honest. So we're going to have 2 double lines here, I think, because that seems like the most apt way to fit these boys in. So we shall have the Major himself there, and his corporal over here, and then they've got the drummer who extends his command radius, and the holy man and the physic. So they've arrived right there, right in range, and they are going to present and fire at those poor Spanish skirmishers who really weren't expecting that at all. So we have 8, 16 plus the leader, 16, 19 dice. Wow, 19 dice. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19 dice. They are presenting and firing. I think they get first fire as well. Just double check that. Yep, they do get first fire. If they had any flags and could do it, they'd control. Anyway, so they are obviously at close range, which is 4 to 6 to hit. First fire is 3, presenting is 2, so anything but 1s. Oh dear, this could go exceedingly badly. I tried my best for them. Threw 3 1s there. 3 1s. Everything else hits. So that is 16 hits. Now the only good thing for these skirmishers is they are in in skirmish formation behind cover, so it's 5s and 6s. Oh, these guys keep falling over. Miraculously, only one killed, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shock. 1 dead and 5 shock. So it can't be the commander. So we'll take one of the regular dudes out, and 5 shock. Wow, that is pretty nasty stuff. So 6 men with the commander on 5 shock. That is pretty brutal. First volley by these fellas over here. There's really, I don't know whether maybe the exploring officer was a bit too powerful in this case, because they can get so close. But got to give the Frenchies some chance to do what they need to do to get across. So they are unloaded now. Okay. So he was a level 3 commander, so that was 1 activation for him. So can he activate anything else? I don't think he can on his first deployment. I don't really know. Actually, why not? Why not? But then nothing else on the table, so no, nothing else can happen. So it doesn't matter. Next one out the pile is, now it's all becoming French, which is French leader 5. Now that is Sergeant Pierre and his Voltigeurs. Where are they going to come out? So they are proper Voltigeurs, which means proper skirmishers, sorry. So they can deploy up to 12 inches plus an additional 3. 15 inches. Where's my tape measure gone? Oh, it's back here. So, where do we put them? 15 inches would get them all the way over here. I think that's the thing to do with them. Bring them all the way over here. And guess what they're going to do? Fire on the poor old Spaniards. It's 6 dice plus a leader 7. They are going to be hitting on 4s to hit, first firing, 3s to hit. Just missed with 1. So that's 6 hits. Again, they're skirmishers in cover. Another man down. And 1 more shock. So, 1 man down and 1 shock. Is it the officer? No, it's not. So we'll take the guy nearest them off. Another shock, which means they're now on 6 shock with 5 figures, which is going to be an involuntary retire. So skirmishers go 2 inches backwards. Let's just move these cards out of the way. Always the way, you put the cards where the action is and not having to move them. So they go back 2 inches, like that. They pull back 2 inches to there. That's the bad things that's happened. With a 5 is going to be 1 point of the force morale. Wow. And the these guys will probably reload, and then I think I'll move them 1 dice towards the barrier, because they might as well try and get some cover. So they come up to there. Nice for this. Our Frenchies have started brutally. Next one is Red Leader 4. Red Leader 4. Oh, so that is the dudes who've just taken all these wounds. Got a couple of flags. In fact, we've got 3 flags. I was holding on for a re-roll on the flags. I think I'm going to burn one of the flags to make him a level 2. Yeah, I'm going to burn the flags to make him a level 2, and he's going to take 1 point of shock off to get them under control again, because now they're bang on what they need, and then he's going to use 2 of the 3 possible dice to head that way. 6 inches. Now, because he's going away from the enemy, he doesn't need to take the effect of shock off the movement, because if you're moving away, shock doesn't matter. I think he might have to do another one just to try and jump over the fence. 6. Oh yeah, he gets over the fence, that's for sure. So they get back over here, which I think is probably the sensible thing to do. Get out the way of that Death Star of firing from the French infantry. Also, they're in danger of being flanked here. So let's just see the Spanish cacadors down there. So onwards. Red 6. Red 6 is... now that is Captain Eldridge. Late to the battle, as he's always late to everything. So I think he's going to come on back here. Can do 9 inches from the deployment point. I think they're going to come this way, try and provide some support to the poor old Spanish over here. And out to there. I'll put them in column for now. He's a level 2 commander. I need him to get them moving. There we go. A blue flag. That's the first flag they've got. A lot of things have moved, but that's the first flag. And then Tiffin. Tiffin. Okay. So the French have 1 flag. The Allies have 2 flags because they burnt 1. So it is the Allies first with 1 flag. They have operated leader 2, 3, 4 and 6. So 5 and 1 can operate. So that's the cannon and the Major Roy's troops. So I think this cannon actually has a shot through that gap there. It'll need to... No, it's probably within... Oh, because it has to fire like a shotgun, so it will need to turn. And it's got a line that goes right the way through that gap there. Over the top of... through there. Do we want to present and fire or just fire? It's a long way, Tipperary. It's only a light gun. So it's effective range, which is hitting on a 5 or a 6. First firing is a 4, 5 or a 6. Or I could present and fire next go. I feel like they need to get some fire going. So they're going to fire. 50-50 chance, only get 10 shots. 2, 4, 6, 8. 10 shots. Hitting on a... What did I say it was? Hitting on a 5 or a 6 because effective range for a cannon, and getting +1 because it's first time firing. It's actually bang on half. 5 hits. Yep, 5 hits. Now then, it's all going to have to be spread across quite a lot of targets over there, because the guys behind are also in range. So there's 4 possible targets. They're all in the open, and so I'm going to put 2 on the one with the commander and 1 on everything else. So 2 on the commander. That's 1 shock only, and the one next to him in the front row is nothing. Oh. And the one to the left, as we're looking at it at the back, is 1 shock, and the one to the right is another shock. So not a particularly not a particularly useful shot. So we've got a shock there, a shock there, and a shock there. Not really what we were hoping for with the first cannon shot, and it's a double reload for the cannon. So we've got 2 lots of smoke to symbolise that. It's also out of not under control for firing, so we have to remember that as well, because it didn't present, so therefore it's not under control. Right, French card. What have they got that hasn't operated this turn? So 1, 5, 6 and 3. So 2, 3, 2 and 4 would be the ones. But 2 is the is the junior officer here, and 1 isn't even on the 4 isn't even on the table yet. So everything is acted for the French that's on the table. So we will just I don't think, because it's the unit rather than the officer that activates on the card, so I don't think you can use anything with that, sadly. Can't even take shock off. And then the British have 1 more flag, which is going to be it's going to be Major Roy. I think he's going to move towards the right of the sorry, to the left of the Spanish militia. So in front, it's going to pass him underneath the hill here and around that way. So the way we play columns normally, if they're on the road they get a bonus movement, but if they're off the road there's nothing in the rules to allow them, but we think they should. So we say that they roll 3 dice and take the best 2. So that's what we're going to do. Rolled 6, 5 and a 2, so it gets the 6 and the 5, which means he does 11 inches. Up to there. And that is going to be it for this turn. So that is turn 3 over with. Okay, so onwards with turn 4. Let's see what comes here. First one is a French flag. French leader 6. French leader 6. That is our friends the Lancers over there. They're kind of in a bit of a predicament because there's an awful lot of Allied troops, but they are also tying them down. Well, helping to tie them down. No, I think they're just going to stay exactly where they are. Not going to do anything. Next one is Red Leader 2. So that is our friend Mr. Little, Sergeant Little, over there in that wood. I feel like the Allies are too strong on that flank. We've got an awful lot of troops tying down, not an awful lot of French. But it's difficult to know what else to do at the moment. So what I think they're going to do... So they're a long way away. They're too far for musketry range at the moment. Also don't want to get run down by cavalry. I think they might hot-foot it that way. I feel like there's not an awful lot of point them hanging around on this wing. We've got a column of infantry here, we've got more infantry there. The predominance of the French are coming through this way, so I think he's going to head this way as far as he can with 3 dice of movement, Wow, 14 inches. He's very keen indeed. So the back guy is there, gets him to there, and they're hot footing it across, knocking down trees as they go. Next card is a flag. So we've got 2 flags on each side at the moment. 2 flags, 1 on each side is what I mean. Red Leader 1, that is Major Roy. So I think he is going to do 1 dice of movement. Whole 6, they're very keen these, everything's a bit keen to get moving around here. Move him out the way, he'll do 6 inches to there, and then he'll use his other activation to snap out into line. He'll position himself here. Actually no, position himself there. He's a level 2 commander. No, because the Spanish guys here are the same rank. So well, he could have, before he left, he could have activated the cannon. I think he'll do that. He would have set, so he would have basically ordered the cannon to reload with his, because he has 2 activations of his own. First one he does that, second one he moves the troops out of sequence, but my opponent doesn't mind. So there you go. Red Leader 4. Red Leader 4 is the Spanish Cacadors, who've successfully fallen back for now. I think they're going to burn another flag, make him a level 2, draw another bit of shock. So he's still got 4 on there though. So if I fired, I'd lose 2 figures, so it's hardly worth firing. I think they're going to try and make a run for the castle. Because A, I'm a bit worried about these French Voltigeurs down here. They might start try and get into the castle behind us, and at least they've got a bit more protection. So we'll try and move. Blimey, with 2 dice they move 12 inches. Now again, they're moving away, so that definitely gets them into the building. So I say these are on the floor below. At least they're a bit harder to shift in there, which is where they started the game. Maybe should have stayed all the time in there. And then they might as well use their final activation, or final activation to fire. I think they're going to fire at the French across the river. 18 inches. So that is effective range. No, it's not. It's long range for a musket. Yeah, long range for a musket, which is a 6 to hit. They are skirmishers. At range is a 5 to hit. They've got 2, 4 men plus the officer's 5. He was raised up to so makes him a 6. But they've got 4 shocks, so it's down to, gives them 4 dice, needing 5s to hit. Obviously, the effect of that firing has put them off their stride, and they missed completely. So they are unloaded, but they are safely back in the fortifications, in the fort up here. So that's that. Next one, another flag. It's actually the first one left of the British. British 3. British 3. That is the continent. That's the militia here. Now then, if they want to move this way, I did it a bit wrong before. They should turn into a column, which is one activation, and then move this way. But then they'd be side on to the French, which is probably not the best thing for them to do. So I think what we're going to do is split this group off, and they will move, because he's a level 2 commander, so he can control both groups. They do 4 inches. So because they're no longer in a formation, they're in a group, they have a bit more flexibility. So they're just going to come back to here. Again, oh, sugar. Always in the wrong place, the hills, aren't they? Always. So I'll clear these up, hang on. Right, so they're basically there. I couldn't get them as much. Couldn't get them to stand up properly because they're just right on the edge of the hill there. So that was his first activation. His second activation will probably just be to do the same with these fellas. They'll just move over and get right behind that barrier there. That's that done. We've got French Leader 3. French Leader 3 is our friend with the Poisson with the Grenadiers over there. Now he's feeling a bit more self-assured, I think. He's going to start moving towards the enemy, I think. 2 dice forward. Does a 7. River doesn't slow us down, so they get across the hill, to the base of the hill there. It's another flag, red flag this time. Another flag, so that's 3 British flags. We've burnt one, so that's the most we're going to get. So therefore, I think they're going to burn 2 of them. Oh, let me just double check they've... Yep, just double checking, and the cannon does have sharp practice, so he's going to burn 2 flags for the cannon to fire up there on the hill, firing at the French double lines down here down here. We know that it's long range or effective range for the cannon. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 shots. Hitting on a 5 or a 6 this time. Well, that's actually better than at range. So it's 4, 5. Oh, the same. Yeah, 50. Well, 50% hit, but it shouldn't have been 50-50 on that stats. So 5 hits. So again, I would put 2 on the guy on the one with the colonel. It's just 1 shock. 1 on the guy behind. There's nothing. 1 on this one is nothing. Oh my lord. And a dead on this one here. Now the sergeant, I know he's not sergeant at the front, so 1 Frenchman bites the dust from that line at the back. Ball buster bounced through. Not the most effective range of shooting, but it's a bit more casualty. So this line here has 2 shock. This one has 1, this one has 1, and this man's lost a man. And the cannon is on a double reload again. It was worth using both the flags because the British haven't got a 4th flag, so there was no point holding on to 3. They might as well use them. It is French Leader 1, so that is the major here. This could get exciting now. Right, so they fired a controlled volley last time, so they don't need to be got under control. He is a level 3 commander, so he's going to take 1 of the shocks off this one because otherwise it would slow the formation, and he is going to reload, and then they are going to advance with 1 dice. 3. Trying to get them over to sort of get behind that hedge, behind that fence. So that is that's 2 activations. 1 was to take off the shock. 2nd was to move this formation forward. They could order the Voltigeurs to do something. I think that's probably a wise thing, because just in case their card doesn't come out, he's within command radius of these boys, so he's going to order them to move forward. I'm going to try and get them on the flank of this, trying to get them on the flank of this Spanish unit. So they're going to do 2 movement dice. 2 dice movement is what I meant. 8 inches. Ooh, that certainly gets them to the flank, or at least some of them to the flank. This guy can get to there, so it's going to be about 3 figures are on the flank. Again, it's always on the hills, isn't it? Always on the hills. So I'm going to say 3 are in the flank, the rest are not. And then they've used 2 dice of movement, one of which was free, and then they're going to fire. So we've got 3 guys into the flank and 3 guys not. It's close range for a musket, which is a 5 or a 6. Sorry, 4 to 6 for all of them. So 3 guys in the flank needing 4 or 6. And you get 1 hit with that, which is a bit of a shame. And the other 3 guys, well, French haven't got their shooting boots either. That was 1 hit from the guys at the front. I think they'll get protection there, because there is a barrier there. These guys are here firing across, so that actually has no effect. But the guy in the flank does 5. Is a 5 is 1 shock, which is doubled to 2 because you're hitting them in the flank. So 2 shock on this unit here. And the Voltigeurs are unloaded. Remember that, 3 figures are in the flank, the rest are not. That is a French flag, so they have 2 French flags. No, I'm going to keep going. French leader 2 is the sergeant over here. He'll take a shock off this column, this guy at the back. And there's a 3rd flag for the French. Now I think they want to get their final unit onto the table. There's a unit of Voltigeurs that haven't appeared yet. So I think they are going to try and bring them on next. So I'm going to burn the 3 French flags and activate the Voltigeurs. The remaining group, they can move 12 inches plus 3 for the exploring officer. Gets them right the way up here. So they're going to go straight in onto the bridge. There we are. They'll fall over, of course they will. Put this guy down here, and there is their big man behind them. And they might as well fire immediately on those Spanish guys manning the barrier. It's just outside of a foot, so we get 6 dice plus the leader 7 dice, because we activated on cards the unit or the officer, sorry. So it's going to be long range, musket. Yeah, long range, which is a 6, plus their but they're skirmishers and first firing, so 4s. Wow, that's a pretty good shot. Missed with 2, so hit with 5. 5 hits on this group here. I'm going to say the commander's with that group. They are behind a barrier though. Oh, it's 2 men dead. 2 dead. There's a chance it could be the officer. No, it isn't. But 2 of this unit bite the dust. That's quite nasty. No shock though. And that is... and they can reload. So that's that lot. And then we got Tiffin. Tiffin out of the pack next. There's only 1 flag left, and that's a French one. Sorry, British one even. We've got well, I think the only thing to do with the British is this group here needs to get moving. So they're going to do 2 dice. Well, they get, let's say, local rule before it's 3 dice, best 2. They get 11 inches. Wow. Gets them all the way up to here. And that's the end of turn 4. And we'll be starting turn 5. Oops, sorry, Mr. Eldridge. So I think we're going to leave it there for a moment and give everyone a chance to chip in with tactics, plans, ideas. I mean, it's pretty much straightforward at the moment, but if you want to make some alterations, or you think things need to happen in a different way, then please chip in the comments section, and I'll give a few days for people to comment, and then I'll run a few more turns. So we're up to turn 5. Situation is everything is on the table now, but all sides are are deployed at least. You've obviously got the tardy Captain Eldridge coming up on this side. You've got the French Voltigeurs flanking the provincial militia on the side of the hill there behind the hedge. You've got the Spanish Cacadors licking their wounds in the castle at the moment, and Sergeant Little is running across to try and help. The French are making a serious play to cross here. The Line battalion is in lines, aptly enough, and is forcing its way across the river, taking cannon shots, but isn't really having any significant problems at the moment, at least. You've got the Voltigeurs have just popped out onto the bridge and already started to lay down fire on the Spanish. Killed 2 of them already, and the Grenadiers are formed up on line, ready to come over the hill. Cavalry is just sort of threatening in the corner there in the marshland. Meanwhile, we've got Major Roy and the British line deployed over here, the Spanish here, and obviously the British we've just seen, and the light infantry and the cannon on the hill. So that's where we are. So let me know if you want me to do anything different. Otherwise, I think I'll continue with the French push towards the castle. They seem to be doing pretty well at the moment, but a lot will depend on what happens with these British line battalions, if they manage to get out and put some effective fire down. They are rather outnumbered, and the Spanish are looking a little bit worse for wear already. Obviously that corner over there with the cavalry holding off a whole battalion, well, 2 groups of British infantry, and the Grenadiers is the interesting one. I'm not quite sure how to play that, so let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I will aim to post this on Friday, and if you have any comments or suggestions about what to do for either side, let me know. I will review anything on Sunday night, midnight, or by anything I get by Sunday night, midnight UK time, and then run a few more turns, and we'll see how this plays out. Turn 5, and it's all to play for. Would I just tend to suggest the French have got a slight edge here so far? We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, do all the good stuff that you do, and yeah, let me know what you think should happen next with this battle, and I will see you again soon. This is Dom signing out.